How's it going, Laser Bruce? Up, I'll be Sixkilla. Welcome back to the Vigilant Villa. Now we left ourselves halfway through an investigation of Mr. Jackie Gia's murder. We've talked to two people. We've got one clue, but we've got two more people to talk to, and I think Emily's going to have some clues because she is the doctor that autopsied him. So let's start with John, and we'll end with Emily, since we already talked to her about it, kind of. John's the creepy guy. John Zhang, the friendly collector. Relationship with the dead. Mr. Zhang, did you know the dead? You can call me John. I've heard of him. Don't get me wrong, I've merely heard of him. I know nothing about him. He's quite notorious. He took cases based on profits. He always chose to help whoever paid him more. It's normal, but he could do anything to win. John confirmed that Jackie has a terrible reputation in the legal field. That's a good clue. I guess some companies must like him. The dodgy ones. Which are the big ones. Many people asked for his legal service, but most of them were in the wrong and didn't care about their reputation. Mr. He is a businessman who has built his business with philanthropy, so he wouldn't have anything to do with Jackie. Then he must have made a fortune. Yeah, if the client's rich enough, one case's commission could buy him a house. But Jackie Gia's house is rented, and he even owes the rent and property management fee. John Zhang, the friendly collector. What were you doing at the time of the crime? What were you doing after returning to your room last night? I went to sleep directly. My wife can prove that. I heard you were doing morning exercises with George this morning. Do you know him? I'm trying to know him. You always need more friends. Yeah, rich and powerful friends. John Zhang. Right. Why did you choose to come to this villa? This is a remote place, surrounded by undeveloped mountains and rocks. The environment doesn't bother me. I was attracted by the villa itself and its objects. I'm a collector. I'm interested in historical buildings. You know, sometimes humans and antiques have something in common. It isn't worth anything when it's alive, but only when it's dead it can be called art. Just like Mr. Gia. I used to scorn him, but now I feel sad for him. That's a weird thing to say. I have other questions. I noticed something that John said. You think humans can only be called art after death? John is somewhat stunned. Oops, sorry, I didn't make it clear. For the record, I don't have any abnormal hobbies. We have to respect the dead, right? It's pointless to say bad things about the dead now. Okay. You seem like dodgy as, man. And your face doesn't help. About the villa, I want to ask... How much do you know about the villa? Only about the things the web advertisement shows, like the surrounding facilities, interior decor, etc. Who chose this place? Claire did. I usually let her decide on those things. I bet you do. She seems to wear the pants. She's quite terrifying, actually. Let's talk to Emily. Emily Tong, the sensitive and vulnerable doctor. Has your husband told you anything about Mr. Gia? No, he seldom talks about the company with me. Besides, there's a law department in the company. He doesn't need Mr. Gia, even if there is a legal dispute. Makes sense. What did you do after returning to your room last night? I haven't been sleeping well, so I carry sleeping pills with me all the time. I took the pills and went to sleep. What time was it? That song was played at 12 o'clock. Then I should have been sleeping at around 12:15. How about your husband? He sticks to a regular schedule. He goes to sleep at 12 every night, and he gets up to exercise every morning. Last night he went to bed earlier than me, and today he woke up before I did. Okay. I haven't got a chance to ask you why you came up the mountain. The driver was supposed to send us to the hotel, but something went wrong with the car. It broke down. This is a remote place. The time of waiting for rescue was enough for us to walk to the hotel. When we walked past here, Whitey smelt something and dashed away. Is Whitey your pet? Sorry, Whitey's my pet dog. I've kept him for 5 years, but it's been missing since we entered the mountain. At that time, it was getting dark, and then a heavy rain came down. We couldn't find the way to go down the mountain. I noticed that Emily looks different when recalling this scene. Observe Emily Tong's expression. Lifted and frowned eyebrows, constricted eyelids, eyes looking at the ground. This memory seems to be more painful to her than the missing pet dog. Okay. I know badgering her would make her relive the pain, but I can't control my curiosity about his secrets. I'm sick of making her hate me, though, and she seems quite nice. Let's do it. God damn it. I must do my best to find out the details of her pain. Storm Whitey lost? George, he was forced to go into the mountain with you to look for the dog. He got lost and was soaked in the rain for long. He blamed all of these mishaps on you. No, he was leading the way and he didn't blame me. Damn. Thank you for helping me under pressure. You're welcome. I've been Miss He for too long. I really miss the days when I was Dr. Tong. I found something when examining the body, and I've been looking for a chance to tell you. Do you remember what happened when Mr. Gia and Leo were fighting? When they were fighting? Mr. Gia only took one punch from Leo, and then we pulled them apart. But the injuries on Mr. Gia's body weren't all from the fight he had with Leo. Since some injuries are swollen and scratched, I guess they were made before this death. From the injury's density, the murderer might have a fierce fight with him, and the murderer had absolute superiority. Okay. Well, we know that Leo didn't have absolute superiority over him. Emily's confirmed that the dead has multiple physical traumas, and he was at an absolute disadvantage. Interesting. More clues can be obtained from the conversation. I need to store the memory in time. Didn't I do that? Oh crap, we've got a whole nother group of people to talk to. Alright, Daisy, you're up. Daisy Moe, the simple student. With the rosy colour back in her cheeks, she becomes lively again. Did you know the dead, Daisy? Mr. Gia. I've never heard of him, and I don't like him. Why? Those cases he was proud of were built on people's pain. I think he was quite bad. I think so too. With the rosy... I think you're quite right about that, and I don't think it would take a genius to figure that out. What were you doing after 12 o'clock last night? Sleeping. I think the murderer is a man. A woman would have no chance to kill a grown-up man. Not at an absolute advantage like that. Agree. So we just have to focus on males. Can I be your assistant? Sure. Yeah. You agree? Sometimes you have to actually try something by yourself, before knowing how hard it is. Daisy nods vaguely. It's not like we're a frickin' detective, actually. Leo, the rude loafer. Did you know Jackie Gia? No. Then why were you so impulsive yesterday? Nothing, I just found him annoying. Leo suddenly lifts his head, looking at me with confusion. Why the hell did you all stop me? Don't you think that based on what he said, we shouldn't let him off the hook that easily? Yes? I agree. I know how you feel. He's a scumbag. He smiles at me. No, you don't. Stop pretending. To drop the guard? Let's try that, whatever that means. He's right. I just wanted to put... Oh, okay. My bad. It's an internal monologue. That shouldn't change anything. Should it? Because it's internal. What were you doing from 12 to 12:40 last night? I don't remember. You haven't been to Jackie's room? No. He's lying. Yes, because we have eyewitness of that. We're getting XP. What does the XP do? Someone saw you go into Jackie Gia's room. Well, that person saw it wrong. I didn't go anywhere last night. Stop asking me questions. I know nothing. Okay, detective. Okay, Schultz. Leo. Right. Real reason for going up the mountain. Why did you come here? Or should I ask, why don't you dare go down the mountain? Killing? Setting fire on something? Whatever you think. Debts, gambling, theft? The injuries you got when you came on the first day are more in line with these situations. Just some debts. Leo's confirmed that he came to the mountain to avoid the debt collectors. Cool. Good to know. The old wounds on his face can help verify a piece of information. Okay. I think the game nearly froze on me there. Is it this? It's gotta be, right. Your wounds are looking better. Is that wound in the corner of your mouth a new one? Yeah, I was punched by that bastard when fighting him yesterday. Just this one? He was pretty swift yesterday. Just this one. He was swift indeed. I guess some of his plaintiffs also fought him like that. Oh yes, Emily said the dead fought someone before death, and the dead's opponent had absolute superiority. There's no other new wounds on Leo. According to their fight yesterday, unless the dead lost all his combat ability, he could fight Leo back for sure. Okay, so, I don't know. I don't know what, we'll just go with this one. George He, the arrogant businessman, two-faced philanthropist. I heard Mr. Gia said you two once worked together. Yeah, but that happened a long time ago. Let's talk about the case in which Mr. Gia defended you. It was a research project I invested. Someone reported us for conducting illegal experiments, but it was a false charge. You can search for the info on that case. Yeah, but... okay, reason for choosing him. As far as I know, Mr. Gia's reputation in the legal field hasn't been very nice. Why'd you choose him? You make one mistake. He was just a common lawyer back then. There was nothing wrong for me to choose a good lawyer. Good, clean lawyer. Right, so it was before he was a wanker and had a bad reputation. What were you doing after returning to your room last night? I slept early last night. My wife can prove that. She did. May I ask where you live? Marriott Villa. Ah. George confirmed that both Jackie and he lived at Marriott Villa. Interesting. The plot thickens. There's a clue I can ask him about. About the fact that he lived in Marriott Villa as well? This one? Jackie Gia lived there too. Is that a coincidence? Do you know how big Marriott Villa is? You wouldn't ask me that if you knew. Jackie Gia said he was meeting a friend for the view, and that's why he came to the mountain. Oh my god, was he coming to meet this guy? The hemp rope at the crime scene was obviously prepared in advance, but my wife and I came here because of an accident. We didn't bring any luggage. What do you say about that? A small-time novelist and a cop. I'll definitely choose the latter. I'm willing to wait for the police to clear my name. Okay, whatever. Shut up. Isaac Chen, the defensive mysterious truck driver. Did you know the dead? I'm just a truck driver, I know no lawyers. Why do you have your face covered? Isaac Chen, why? What were you doing after returning to your room last night? Exercise. Based on the man's gestures and tone, I think he seems to reject me. He's a truck driver, he probably has to lift lots of heavy things. He probably overwhelmed the guy with his strength. Maybe the results will be different if I change my attitude towards him. Serious. I start looking at him seriously. It's okay for you to reject me, but whatever you're hiding will only let things become more dangerous. Rejection is like hatred. They won't just appear suddenly. Does that mean you already have a suspect in mind? I have nothing to say. You can figure out whatever I've already thought of. Good luck then. Yeah. We still haven't finished Daisy though. Can I be your assistant? This is not a game. Daisy, this is not a game. People's lives are in danger. Fine, I'll help you anyway. Okay, we're done. The existing clues are enough for me to know the real deal. Really? Are you sure? You're about to start the deduction. Please check if your progress has been saved. Oh my god, okay. Every time you say that, I freak out. Stop doing that. Saved. Let's do this. Alright, so we got clue about his finance. Okay, we can do that. That one. Personal information inconsistent with his real financial status. Oh crap, can I undo that one? Because this one's that one. Clue about his reputation. Oh, it's good. It's good. We did good. Jackie Gia, a notorious dirty lawyer who had complicated social relations. He was well paid. For some reason he became broken and could hardly keep his elite image. Living in the rich zone downtown might have been his way of finding new clients. He lied about why he came up the mountain. In fact, he followed George to the villa. He desperately needed a job, or money. The notorious dirty lawyer is suffering a financial crisis. He also lied about why he came up the mountain. Good. Oh, the plot thickens. We're getting somewhere. We still need to keep track of the murder weapon. How would the murderer have dealt with it? Who left the villa today? George and what's his face? Yeah, Mr. He and John. The two of them are together, so they should be able to testify for each other. I'm watching everyone. No one has the chance to ditch the fruit knife. And that tongue. Oh yes, it's easy to deal with the tongue. It could be flushed away. Oh yes, but it's more complicated to handle the fruit knife. So the murder weapon must be still in the villa. Then search for it. I don't care. Should we search for the murder weapon? Then we'll know who did it once we find it. Sure, I don't have a problem with that. Before I say anything, they start searching for the murder weapon everywhere. The villa clanks inside. Everyone is searching for that fruit knife. I found it. Panting for breath, Amy runs in with John from outside the villa, holding a knife wrapped in a white handkerchief, showing only the bloody blade. I knew it was him. I dug this right outside his window. Amy points at Leo while keeping a safe distance from him. Beside her, John nods in agreement. I take the fruit knife wrapped in the handkerchief and unwrap it for further examination. The knife is indeed the fruit knife from the kitchen, but there is something strange about it. The knife is only covered with a little wet mud, but there should have been more if it was buried underground. Amy said she dug this out. I think she might have exaggerated a bit, and to be precise, this knife should have been directly thrown in the flowers. The bloody fruit knife is found under Leo's windowsill. Alright. And all signs point to Leo, apart from the fact that he can't possibly physically overpower him. I mean, maybe if he's brandishing the knife, Jackie would just be like, okay, you can beat me, because if I try and fight back, you'll stab my ass. And then he stabbed his ass anyway. This time, he can't look for excuses anymore. Alright. Oh my god. Are you gonna make me save again? Stop making me panic. The clue directing suspicion towards Leo is about the time of the crime. Claire Yee's testimony. And the clue directing about the murder weapon is that. Next. Question Leo again. The weapon was found under your windowsill, and someone saw you enter the dead's room. Based on these two things, you fall under great suspicion. Do you still refuse to talk? You went into Jackie's room. What happened? This is your last chance. Leo clenches his fists and struggles with his heart for a while. At last his body relaxes. Yes, I did go to his room. Last night at around 12:30 o'clock. 12:30. I couldn't help myself getting angrier. So I went into his room and wanted to beat him again. His door wasn't locked. I pushed it and opened it. Into the memory from Leo's perspective. Ooh. That's cool. Didn't know that was going to be a thing. So we're going to see it from his eyes. The curtains were shut, and there was no light in the room. All is in the dark. Jackie Gia was lying on his bed. I felt like fire was rushing to my throat. The only exit was right in front of me. I grabbed his collar and swung my fist onto his face. Silver tongue, huh? How dare you say anything now? Do you dare say anything now? I swung at him again and again. He seemed to be half awake. He didn't fight back. Later he struggled and dodged. Help! Help! His voice sounded feeble. How dare you shout for help? Expecting someone to save your life? Did someone come to save those elders? I noticed that Jackie Gia was holding his mobile phone and he looked like he was trying to make a call. That made me madder. I snatched his mobile phone and started punching him again. Anyway, after I calmed down, I realized that he'd stayed in the same position for a while. I didn't know if he'd passed out or died. I was a little freaked out. Maybe I used too much strength. That kind of thing happened before. What? You've killed people before by accident? Calm down. In the dining room, Claire was holding a glass when she saw Leo come out of Jackie's room looking panicked. Leo said he went to Jackie's room and had a fight with him. More like he beat him while he was half asleep. But whatever. End of memory. About him, there are some more questions. Missing mobile phone. Didn't you take his mobile phone? Why would I take that? I didn't take it. He said you snatched it out of his hand. Earlier concealment. Why didn't you tell us at first? Damn, I didn't find anything wrong until I returned to my room. Then I found there was blood on my clothes. Then I knew why that bastard didn't fight me back. I wanted to leave this morning, but the bridge is broken. The knife wound. Did you use the knife? I didn't do it. I've got no idea why the knife was outside my window. I didn't kill her. The doctor said the fatal wound was the cut. Who knows, maybe you stabbed him before you beat him. The body doesn't lie. The injuries were swollen, which was made before death, so the assault must have happened before the fatal third cut. Shit, I told you, it's not me. Thick hemp rope and the tongue? Did you bring the thick hemp rope? No, I got nothing with me up the mountain. I just punched him and left, that's all. A lot. Then what's your story with Mr. Gia? Nothing, I just don't like him. Let me guess why you were so impulsive yesterday. Did something he said touch your nerves? That is... Grain's demolition case. The demolition case he did for Grain. Leo's expression changes. He breathes heavily, looking painful. That's it, the breakthrough. Obviously. Have you heard of the Grand? Had it not been for me, their shopping mall couldn't have been built so easily. That area was populated with poor households. I guess none of you have ever seen anything like that. A family of 3 squeezed themselves into a room less than 20 square meters. The smell of waste was everywhere. I know the memory makes him painful. That his hatred. And that's the key. Leo is abnormally serious. His eyes turn red, staring at a fixed direction, and he's trembling. I can get the answer I want as long as I keep pushing it, but the cost is pain. Talk about the old couple? The demolition case has something to do with the elders you talked about. Mr. Gia hurt them, so you hate him. They're your family, right? Leo breathes more heavily. He's constraining himself. I express sympathy. I feel sorry for you. He hurt you, and his death made you the #1 suspect. He starts hesitating. I can get the answer I want as long as I keep pushing him. Talk about the poor households. Were you one of those poors? That's a weird way of saying it. I don't like it. You were tricked into signing the minimum compensation agreement. You could get a fortune, but he lied to you. Leo laughs coldly. This is like a combat. Only taking the right move will overcome his defenses, but if I make a wrong step, his defense will only be stronger. Talk about Jackie? He's a dirty lawyer. He'd do anything to win a case, and you know that better than anyone. So what? He was safe and sound anyway. He finally lifts his head. His red eyes are staring at me. You recognized him, and found out he never regretted what he did to you at all. He took the success in tricking you into signing the agreement as a show-off. Your trampled rights were only his glory. In his eyes, you were garbage on the street, rats in the gutter and maggots in the cesspit. He didn't respect you at all. He made his wealth by sucking your blood. Such a man deserved to die, so you punished him. Leo suddenly stands up, pressing his hands on the table, breathing more heavily than ever. That's right, he deserved to die 100 times. So you really killed him? I fucking wanted to kill him, but it was too late. What do you have to do with that demolition case? Leo calms down and sits back in his chair. The ones he owed the most are not me, but the old couple. Back into his memories. I'm an orphan. An old couple adopted me. The old man was a vegetable vendor, and the old lady was a street cleaner. The two of them only had one small room. I was the bully in the orphanage, causing trouble all the time. No one wanted to adopt me. But the old man said he would. He also said I knew how to fight, and I would achieve something in the future. They didn't earn much, but they were good to me. I always had new clothes to wear. Whenever there was meat in the dishes, they would let me have it first. I even went to primary school, but I dropped out after graduation. Residents in our neighbourhood were generally poor, but they were good people, and had no evil thoughts. Except you. And then one day, we heard about the construction of a shopping mall. In the days that followed, everyone was talking about it. Then a young man in a suit came to my home, calling the old couple auntie and uncle in a warm-hearted way. He brought food every time he came over. He gave me many knickknacks. I called him Shiny Shoes. He looked young, and he always wore a pair of big black shiny leather shoes. It was funny. As for him, I didn't like him much. Somehow he seemed hypocritical to me, but the old couple liked him. Shiny Shoes even offered to help with my schoolwork. I found it annoying. Even when I found fault with him, but he wouldn't get angry. His smiling face was as fake as a mask. During that time, Shiny Shoes visited every family in our neighbourhood, and everyone seemed to like him. Later, Shiny Shoes brought a contract. He told us to sign the contract that basically allowed him to buy our houses at a low price. People believed in him and signed it without hesitation. He told the old couple once they signed it, they'd get an apartment in the school district. And that way I could go to a good secondary school. The old lady was first tempted, so they signed it. Let me count. How many people were fooled by Shiny Shoes? Almost half of them. Only later did we find out what that was. Huh, an apartment in the school district, just a daydream. We didn't get much money from it at all, and we lost our shelter. Money from both Grand and us ended up in his pocket. The old lady felt it was her fault. She took things so hard she committed suicide. The old man was devastated and was attacked by an acute disease. When the ambulance took the old man away, I was running after it. That's when I saw Shiny Shoes. He covered his face with a handkerchief, pretending not to see me. However, I thought I'd never forget that ugly face behind the mask. But as the years went by, I forgot it anyway. I didn't expect to meet him here. I was sent back to the orphanage after that. I was too old to be adopted again. At that time, I thought, if it weren't for Shiny Shoes, would my life be very different? Leo. Leo says he has a grudge against Jackie in the past. The corners of his eyes are slightly moist and his lips are pressed into a hard line. Daisy moves closer to him and hands him a tissue. Don't misunderstand. It's just my eyes that are feeling a little sour. Leo lowers his head, and rubs his temple with his hands. A tear silently drops down. It's a moving story and a very reasonable motive. Running into the enemy who has changed your life, provoked hatred in your heart. Killing was the only way to let off your resentment. Oh, so on the spur of the moment, you took the fruit knife from the kitchen to have your revenge. Alas, mate, I feel real sorry for what you've gone through, but murder is illegal. Why would you be so impulsive? Guys, it's all clear now. I suggest we lock him in a separate room for everyone's safety. He had time and motive for committing the murder, and the weapon was found outside his window. Everything seems to point to Leo. I mean, we should lock him up anyway, shouldn't we? I mean, no, he's not a danger to the rest of us. Well, I mean, he did bash us with something, didn't he? Alright, lock him up. He probably didn't do it, but we should lock him up anyway for everyone's safety, I think. George is right. It's good for all of us to lock Leo up. John and George give each other a look. They bring Leo under control together. Let me go. It wasn't me. Shouting and cursing doesn't change anything. Leo's tied up and locked in the room. Everyone feels relieved and heads back to their own rooms. I take my medicine. Maybe it isn't that complicated. It's just an unplanned act of revenge. The whole thing has disturbed my writing plan. Tomorrow I'll start writing my novel. We just write about this. Sorted. A scream wakes me from my dream and then I hear a woman crying. It's coming from outside. What's going on? Someone's dead. The tenants are gathering at Leo's door. I'm slowly walking to Leo's room with a headache. Oh crap, Leo's dead? Leo is dead. He's wearing a painful expression, incapable of fighting back, because his arms and legs are tied. Crap, he's dead and it's my fault. There's a piece of crumpled paper in his mouth. I take it out and open it. The handwriting is so twisted that it's barely recognizable. You're the reason why he's dead, Ingram. A death that shouldn't have happened cuts off all possible leads. Ending, repeated mistake. God damn it, reselect. Disagree to lock Leo up. My bad, I just thought it would be best for everyone. There are still questionable points. The locked door. We saw him lock the door when going back into his room. There's no sign of lockpicking. Either the murderer had the key, or the dead opened the door for the murderer. The dead wouldn't have opened the door for someone he knew, or would have opened the door for someone he knew, or someone of no threat. But he would not have opened the door for Leo, who had just had a conflict with him. Very good point. There are still questions. The dead suffered multiple blows. If the attacker had been Leo, Mr. Gia definitely would have fought back. But the reality is, Leo doesn't have any green wounds on him. That means when he was attacking, the dead had already lost the ability to strike back. Before he went in, someone else had stabbed the dead twice, disabling him from fighting back. That's a bit weird. What's more, the dead's mobile phone is missing. The murderer took the mobile phone away because it has some key information that he didn't want us to know. Maybe that is his motive for murder, but it doesn't agree with Leo's motive. A staged crime scene. It's impossible to kill someone and take care of the crime scene so thoroughly within 10 minutes. The murderer even wiped the blood around the dead's mouth. That's just impossible. We're not risking our own safety to play detective games with you. He's the most likely suspect, and he's able to pick the lock. It's very dangerous to keep someone like him around. I suggest we put him into solitary confinement. I agree. Yeah, Mr. He has a point. Let's vote by a show of hands. It's none of my business. I'm not taking a stand. There are still 2 people who haven't clarified their position. Daisy? What do you say? Folmes, of course I'm on your side. John, George, Amy, Claire, and Emily have raised their hand. Except Isaac, who has abstained from voting. There are only Daisy and me left. Majority rules. John and George give each other a look. They bring Leo under control together. Oh, crap. As I'm stepping forward, Claire stops me. I already said, I saw him walk out of Mr. Gia's room with my own eyes. If you insist on defending him, I suspect you're with him. Mr. Fang, please stay out of this. Don't you forget what he has done? He threatened me with a knife in order to stay here. He is a thug. What is he incapable of doing? Bullshit, you think I'd be here if I wanted to lay a finger on you? I see now, you just don't give a damn about the evidence at all. You're just holding a prejudice against me. Right, I killed him. Don't you dare let me out or I'll send you all to keep that goddamn lawyer company. It was really him. When Uncle Zone comes back, I'll recruit some security personnel. I watch helplessly as they lock Leo up like a prisoner. It seems they're isolating us. I need to go back over the whole thing again. Okay, you get some rest first. So does that mean we don't lose, or we're going to lose now anyway? The world has finally returned to rationality and quietness. I need to go through the clues again. As for the time of the crime, everyone has their excuses, and it's difficult to verify. Only Leo clearly had enough time to commit the crime. I need to restore the crime scene. The process of the murderer committing the crime. If I were the murderer... Yes. I went to the kitchen first to get the fruit knife, which was the murder weapon. I couldn't get into his room. Alright, here we go. You're gonna make me save again. You're gonna make me panic and save, I know. Panic. Panic saving. Alright, let's do this. The murderer can't enter the room to the dead directly because he has the only key. The only key was in the dead's pocket, so I knocked or used the lost spare key to open Mr. Gia's room. Right? How did I kill Mr. Gia? I like this reasoning time thing. Ah, come on. Come on! You're not gonna make me save every time, eh? Don't be silly. The body has given us information to help reconstruct how the victim was murdered. Autopsy report. This? Emily Tong's damage to face? I took the chance when Mr. Gia turned his back on me and stabbed him twice when he was off guard, disabling him from fighting back. Then I beat him. Finally, I ended his life with the knife. In this way, there is one more clue left out of the crime process. That clue is... reasoning time. Oh, God damn it. I saved it a little bit ago, it's fine. There's a neglected clue that doesn't comply with the logic behind the murder. The bloodstain in the wardrobe. That doesn't make sense, right? Why is there a bloodstain in the closet? The murderer was probably hiding in the closet. That's how he got in while it was locked. Why'd he hide in the closet? He showed up midway. Because someone came in midway. The other guy. Leo. The door of the next room was violently pushed open by Leo. I heard footsteps coming this way. Someone was coming. I had to hide first, so I hid in the closet. That's why blood dropped from the knife used to hurt Jackie Gia. Leo came in and, like he said, he beat Mr. Gia, revealing their past feuding. During this period, hiding in the closet, I changed my mind. What a perfect scapegoat. When Leo had finally left in a flurry, I delivered the coup de grace. What else did I do? Ditch the knife and the tongue? Cut his tongue off and set everything up? Set all this crap up. There's an item missing from... oh, the phone. Oh, how do I undo? Can I not undo? Oh, there. Phone. Stole the phone. I took the mobile phone because it could be my motive for the crime. There are too many secrets in people's mobile phones nowadays. Maybe one of the secrets bothers the murderer? Then I used the hemp rope to create the punishment scene. The bright light from upstairs is faintly shedding through my curtains. Finding a chance to throw the fruit knife from the second floor would be easy. It would easily solve the problem with the murder weapon. Maybe I could even frame Leo, the poor guy. Who's in the room above Leo's room? For example, throwing the murder weapon during the search day, the ones living above Leo are Amy and the he couple. There's one thing I haven't figured out. Alright, come on then. Let's get this deduction out of the way. Because we need to wrap this episode up. In this case, there are two kinds of murder weapons that are contradicting each other. Rope. Two kinds of murder weapons contradicting each other. Rope and... speculation, come on. Yes, it is speculation. God damn it. I got one wrong. If the murderer took the murder as an artistic work, he would have chosen the murder weapon, wouldn't have chosen the murder weapon so casually. Obviously, the fruit knife was the murder weapon used on the spur of the moment, but the hemp rope was prepared in advance and on purpose. The third stab, which was lethal, messy blows, and the carefully arranged death scene. The habits of committing the crime were on very different levels. There was only one possibility. The crime was not committed by the same person. I speculate the person who killed Jackie and the one who laid the crime scene are not the same person. Oh. Shit. What's the motive of the real murderer? Where is the missing mobile phone? Right now, only Leo has a strong motive. There must be hidden clues that haven't been discovered. I lean back in my chair, sighing as I stare at the ceiling. It's a dead end. It's the same as facing a bottleneck in writing. Nothing new comes out even if we keep on trying. Where did it go wrong? The mysterious mobile phone on the desk catches my attention. I grab it and unlock it. The locked file opened by itself. How did that happen? Maybe it was set up to open on a certain date. There's a program called Who Are You? An encrypted audio recording. Open. It starts with a weird prologue. Do you know who you really are? I mean, the real you, hiding deep within. I know your dark side better than you do. Dare to give it a try? Unable to quit. I'll just finish this stupid test. And with that, we're going to wrap this one up here because we are seriously out of time for this one. Cliffhanger again. Yes, I'm doing it on purpose. So sue me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.